So I've got some scrap steel. This is an old project I started and never did anything with. I'm just cutting this off that I can weld. I cut this end off, so I'm going to weld this on to the end like this, and I'm just going to make another piece to match this that will go onto the frame. Just cutting pieces off of this steel. Okay, I got it done, painted. All I got to do now is bolt it on and we're ready to camp. Like I always do, I went a little too fast. Had to weld on an extra piece on the front. I don't really measure things good when I'm doing a quick project like this, so I made a couple mistakes, but doesn't look too bad. This is the extra piece I had to weld on the front so it would fit right. You can see the air intake in the back. The exhaust is going to, I'll unstrap that, hang that out the side so it's well away from the air intake, and you can see the heat tube comes out the front and it's ready to go. I think it came out real nice. Now all we need to do is go camp. I thought I was done yesterday. I had it all finished, painted. The only thing I didn't do was tap the bolts through, but I got to thinking, I forgot to mention a couple things, so I'm going to go through that real quick right now. I tapped the bolts through. They're self-tapping. They came with it. It's very sturdy, easy to move around. I like the setup this way because I can, at camp, just take this off the bungee and lower the exhaust down. When it cools off and I'm done, I can just close it back up. At camp also, all I gotta do is hook up this hose. I have a 4-inch to 3-inch adapter for it. And yes, I'm using a 4-inch line right now. It's an exhaust, not an exhaust, it's like a dryer vent tube, and that will go up into the tent. I already had the 4-inch tube because I use it for my air conditioning, so why not use what I have? I've got some thumb screws for this so I can make it quicker to take on and off. I did mention before, I thought this was a 3-foot line that came with it for the power. It is about 5 foot, and I added about 6 foot to it. So after the wires and soldering and everything, I have about 11 feet of line that goes from the heater to the battery. So I can get this as far away from my camp as possible. All I do is plug this into the cigarette adapter here, and it goes straight to the battery. Now, the good thing about that, it's not running off the inverter, so I don't have any extra power being used for the inverter, straight to the battery, and I think it's going to work really well. I have tried to use it a few times here in the barn, which is very open and ventilated, and it's not insulated, let's put it that way. And it works really well. It heats up, it puts out a lot of heat, just not in this big of a space. So I'm excited to use it in a tent and see how well it does there. I want to run it a few more hours, make sure there's no problems before I really get into using it. But I'm happy with the way this came out, and I wanted to mention the reason I did all this and did all the work and put all the time into it, which wasn't very much. I did it very quick. Like I said, I made some mistakes doing it, but I wanted this to be on a low enough unit that I could fit it under my tonneau cover. Obviously it has legs that lift up when I'm at camp to keep it up off the ground, again, so the exhaust doesn't catch anything on fire. I didn't have to drill any holes in anything to run the exhaust through because I elevated it up off this platform, and the legs are nice to fold out, again, to give me that height off the ground so I don't start any fires when I'm camping. And that's another reason why I did all this, is to keep it away from my tent. Like I said, I have about 11 foot of power line to go to my battery, so I can get as far away from my camp as possible, again, for the carbon monoxide issues that may be present. And if this were to ever catch on fire, I don't have an image of it, but the hose that came on this, the fuel line, is very cheap. If it were to crimp or pinch or get a hole in it or leak, and start a fire in the worst possible situation, I don't want it next to my rig, next to my truck. A lot of people I see put these on a tire table or a tire step, which is very convenient. I like the setup, I like the idea of it, except for if there was to be a fire. And if there was, you're putting it next to a $300 to $400 tire, next to your expensive truck, your vehicle, and all your camping supplies. So why not do it this way where it's safer and get away from everything? I just think it's a win-win situation. So let me know if you have any questions or comments. Again, I know I'm new to all this. This diesel heater's new to me. I'm never professing to be an expert welder or this is the best way to do it, but I think it's gonna work out really well for me and what we need to use it for when we camp. So if you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, we'd appreciate it. And again, thanks for watching. See ya.